Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today the topic which we are going to start, the chapter which we are going to discuss is the environmental management and land use pattern. Okay, so in this chapter basically what we are going to focus mainly on is the some of the presumptions through which we can control the environmental degradations. Okay, and as well as the land use pattern, like different uses of land, how the lands are used in the different sectors that we are going to study in this chapter. Okay, so before we start with the chapter, we need to know the literal meaning of the term environment and the management. What is this, isn't it? So environment, generally, environment refers to the surroundings. Okay, now surroundings, I mean both biotic as well as the abiotic substances, isn't it? In other words, if we say environment is the totality of all the physical, social and biological factors, okay, whether it could be an individual level or collectively, okay, means which complies both natural as well as the man-made surroundings. That is your environment. Now for example, right now you are sitting in your room, whatever the things which is surrounding you is your present environment. Understood what I'm saying? It could be of natural thing or man-made thing. Okay, now next term is your management. Now what is management? The literal meaning of the term management means some planning, reviewing, okay, and the assessment or decision making. Okay, so that is your management. Now environmental management, why do we need environmental management? That is the question which occurs now. Why? Because for the development. Okay, because development implies an overall improvement of the economic, social as well as the political condition of the society. Okay, now in order to develop, what we need? Natural resources of any kind. Okay, but often what happened, the man, because of the need, because of the desire, okay, will utilize more amount of natural resources. Over exploitations of the natural resources will be there, which leads to the degradation of the environment, isn't it? So the thing is that the conservation and the management of the environment has been inevitable in the present day because of the continuous degradation and the rising pollution and all. The management of the environment has become an utmost necessity in the present day world. Understood? So that's the tremendous awareness has been developed in the field of environmental management nowadays, like such kind of terms like, the clean technologies, environmental auditing, eco-friendly products, isn't it, in order to save our environment from the pollution and degradation. So the environmental management has become an indispensable tool for the sustainable development. Okay, now the question arises, what is sustainable development? Now we can define sustainable development as the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. Okay, in a very simple term, if we have to say, then we have to utilize the natural resources to its optimum use. Okay, we should not over exploit it, so that the future generation can also utilize that, can also use the benefits of that natural resources. Okay, so that is what sustainable development is. Now the management, now environmental management means like implies on the adoption of the strategies, or number of strategies designed to meet the objectives, short term objectives, but also keeping in the view of the long term options also. Now here are the few important aspects of the environmental management. So I request all of you to pause the video once and go through the objectives once. Okay, like to create a pollution free environment, to protect men and animals from the pollution. So in that way, several other objectives or the aspects of environmental management are there. I request you to go through it. Now while going through the above aspects, one thing we come to know that so far we have been observing nature or environment as a resource only with the point of view of development. Okay, but we are uh, mistaken over there. We have to observe the natural resources, okay, as a capital also, so that it needs to be managed very carefully. As the other country, India also puts its land into various uses. So knowing the land use pattern, it's very important because it decides the economic condition of the country. It gives us an idea about the economic growth of the country also. Okay, so the total geographic area of our country is around 328.73 million hectares of land. So this amount of land will be used for the various aspects. Okay, so according to the report of land utilization 2013-14, this table shows us the amount of area which is used for the different aspects. Okay, for example, you can see net shown area is around 141.43 million hectares of land. Area shown more than once is 59.43 million hectares. Okay, so if we put this net shown and area shown together, then around 200.86 million hectares of land is the total cropped area in our country. Similarly, forest not available for cultivation, permanent pastures or the grazing lands, land under the miscellaneous crops and groups, fallow lands, current fallow, cultivable waste, okay, are also been used. They are also the usable land. Okay, so total reporting area of the land utilization statistics of 2013 and 14, if you see, around 307.80 million hectares of land has been used. Okay. Okay, students, now let us discuss the different land utilization or the pattern of land utilization in it individually. Net shown area. Now, net shown area refers to the part of that land which is cultivated or the agricultural production is done in order to meet the increasing demand for the food and the other requirements by the rapidly increasing population. And it is very much necessary for the country like India, where the population is very huge. Now, due to the natural limitations like topography, soil and all, there is not much scope for the increase of net shown area in our country. However, like from if you compare the 1951 to 51, where the 118 million hectares of land was under the net shown area, has increased to 141.43 million hectares in 2013 and 14. Now, the net shown area in India is around 46.04% of its total reporting area against the world average, that is just 32%. Next we have is the area shown more than once, means double cropping is done. Okay, like the area is cultivated twice or thrice in a year. Now this accounts over 42% of the net shown area and 19% of the total reporting area of the country. Basically, the area which is very fertile and regular supply of water is present falls under this category. For example, the large tracts of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, okay, the Indo-Gangetic plain. Now, the next category is your forest. Around 23.34% of the total reporting area of our country falls under the category of forest. According to the report of 2013 and 14, 71.83 million hectares of land is under the forest cover, which was just 40.48 million hectares in the year 1950 to 51. So over the past decades, we have increased a huge area, we can say, under the forest cover. But a tropical country like India, it should have around 33% of land under the forest cover in order to have a proper ecological balance. It means more 10% of the land has to be brought under the forest cover. Now that will require a massive tree plantation and restrictions on the reckless felling of the trees. Next category is land not available for cultivation. Now this class consists of two types of land. First, land put to non-agricultural uses. Barren and unculturable waste is the second class. So land put not to an agricultural uses means those include the land which is occupied by the man-made features or the, for example, like settlements, village, towns, road, railways, as well as the underwater, that is rivers, lake, canal, tanks and ponds also. Now, the barren and unculturable waste includes the land masses like mountains, desert, and rocky areas. Okay, so this kinds of area cannot be brought under the cultivation or agriculture. So, according to the land pattern of land utilization 2013 and 14, nearly 14.62% of the total reported area falls under this category. Next we have is the permanent pastures and the other grazing land. So around 10.3 million hectares of land falls under this category, and in this category the land is solely used for the raising and grazing of livestock. Next is the land under the miscellaneous tree, crops and groups. So under this, the miscellaneous trees and groups are used, are grown in the cultivable land. Okay, but that is not included in the net zone area, though this will be put into some agricultural uses, but still it will not fall into the category of net zone area. Next is we culturable waste. Now culturable waste is that land which is available for cultivation but not used for cultivation for one reason the another. There could be various reasons, like for example lack of water supply, or salinity or alkalinity of the soil, soil erosion, water logging, unfavorable physiographic position, or due to the human neglect also. So this could be the reasons for the non-utilization or for the unused of this land. Okay, so the culturable waste or the land for due to the zooming cultivation in the tribal areas also, okay, leads to the culturable waste. Now however, in 1950 to 51, around 22 million hectares of land was the culturable waste. So it has been declined over the past years, and in 2013 and 14 it is just 12.39 million hectares. So more amount of land is culturable waste which can be brought under the cultivation by the proper care, if the proper care is given to the land. Next category is fallow land. So under this category, the land which was used for the cultivation but currently or temporarily it is unused. Okay, now fallow land is also of two types: current fallow and fallow other than the current fallow. Now in case if a land is unused for a year, then it is known as current fallow. If the land is unused for more than year or 2 years or 3 years, then it is known as fallow other than the current fallow. Now the reason behind the land not using for cultivation and leaving it as a fallow land is because the farmer will leave the land in that way to recoup the soil with the fertility, and that naturally, okay, without any artificial means. But we can decline the amount of fallow land by the proper scientific techniques, okay, doing proper dose of fertilizers, irrigation facilities, or crop rotations, okay, or adopting different other scientific techniques of agriculture. Okay, so in that way we can decrease the fallow land. So these are the various land uses or the pattern of land utilization in our country.